Today's episode of Voiced is from r/Amit the Butthole and is about a subreddit's shift in values, a controversial question, and a dramatic roommate situation. Which one will leave you speechless? Subscribe if you enjoy. This sub is moving towards a value system that frequently does not align with the rest of the world. I've enjoyed reading and posting on this sub for many months now, and I feel like I've noticed a disconcerting trend lately. Over time, more and more of the posts seem to have a universal consensus on every post, with any dissenters massively downvoted, and b, a shift towards judgments that seem, to me at least, to be out of step with how people in the real world judge situations. Given that, I think it's important to remember that even though the sub is not intended to be for validation posts or to be an echo chamber or to give advice on how people should behave in specific situations in practice, a lot of times it is. So just as a reminder offline, people in your real life will think you are an asshole if you take the last cookie when you know the child behind you wants it. They'll think you're an asshole if you don't stand up for an elderly person on a bus. They'll think you're an asshole if you don't go out for drinks with your coworkers once in a while. They'll think you're an asshole if you don't try to be involved in your child's life, no matter how much support you pay. They'll think you're an asshole if you can't help out your brother with babysitting once in a while, even if you're child-free. They'll think you're an asshole if you wear nothing but underwear in your own home when your roommate has guests over. They'll think you're an asshole if you can't detour for 10 minutes a day to carpool with a coworker for a week while his car is in the shop. The internet has its own values, and that's fine. But in the real world, people who can't just go along to get along most of the time, people who don't want to mildly inconvenience themselves to help out the people around them, people who don't seem to put any stock into the idea of collectivism, the people around them are going to consider them to be jerks. So yeah, I love this sub. I love reading the stories and find it very interesting to hear people's opinions. But I personally think that probably more than 50% of the time, the people I know in real life would disagree with the sub's judgment of who is the asshole in a given situation. I don't know if the disparity is just because of Reddit's demographics or because people with alternate perspectives see the writing on the wall and don't want to get downvoted to oblivion. So even if you get 4,000 replies on Reddit saying that you're totally in the right, if everyone in your real life thinks you're an asshole, well, there's probably a reason for that. And maybe this is just me, but I really wish we could have more discussion about whether someone is being an asshole if they're being inconsiderate or selfish, even if they don't technically owe anyone anything. Or maybe you believe that people offline are wrong, and we should continue to promote the individualistic value system seen on Reddit, both on and offline. That is a discussion worth having too. Thanks, guys. This is a very interesting discussion so far. Don't just downvote the people who disagree with me or you. Engage them without being combative. I've never seen this movie, but it's come to my attention that there already exists in this world an excellent, wow, that's quite the shift from discussing societal norms and online versus offline values to, well, let's just say a very different kind of Reddit experience. Speaking of unexpected turns, our next poster finds themselves in a situation that's anything but mundane. Let's dive into their story and see how they navigated this wild ride on Reddit. Today, I had been looking forward to the qualifying for the Formula One this weekend and was browsing Reddit whilst also watching some older Formula One footage on YouTube. So it got me wondering, some of these races used to really get me super excited for them. Now they're just boring and far too controlled. So I posed the question to /Formula One to ask their opinions as well. Shortly after posting, it transpired that the way I had asked the question could be perceived as a little Hitlerish. Check out the link below. It somehow grabbed the attention of many people and managed to get to number one of all, and now my inbox is broken. Unfortunately for me, I am very anal retentive with things such as emails, texts, etc., that I must open every single one. It would actually play on my mind so badly that I wouldn't be able to sleep if I didn't open them, so I must open and read every damn comment. Probably the worst thing to have to feel the need to do if you plan on making it to the front page. I thought it was slowing down because it got to a point where I was reading messages faster than they were coming in, and the number of notifications was going down. But then, everything changed when users from the USA became active, and I've been playing catch-up ever since. Took an opportunity to make this post since the message count was less than 100. Let's see what I go back to now. Thank you for the gold you're all giving me. It's rather overwhelming. The original post has now made it to be the #1 post of all time in r/Formula One somehow. As of 7:42 p.m. GMT, I still have over 600 responses to read through. I will be reading them all, but I won't necessarily be responding to them all. I'm really glad that I could make a lot of you smile and laugh today. That wasn't the original intention, but it's a great positive to take away from this experience. At around 8:20 p.m. GMT, I opened up Alien Blue to read these comments faster than on the official app, and when I started from there, I had 934 unread messages. 20 minutes later, reading the messages and making some replies, I now have 976 unread messages. It's now 9:09 p.m. GMT. I did have my inbox down to about 900 at one point, but now it's back up in the 4 digits. I am seriously sleep deprived right now. I have been awake since 4 p.m. yesterday, being unable to sleep due to coughing fits. Finally, they've subsided, and I'm feeling really tired now, so I shall pick up reading and responding tomorrow. Good night to you all. Very bizarre experience today. I honestly didn't think this post where I made a mistake would blow up like my first post, but it seems to have done so much faster and on a much larger scale. Finally, I'm able to read the comments and messages faster than they are coming in. Back down under 1,000 left to go now, and it's been a truly interesting experience. It's been great to see this happen, and I'm sorry to those who thought Reddit was accepting casual racism for a brief moment. Made a post asking a question, worded it wrong, and now everyone thinks I'm a racist person. Wow, talk about a wild ride through Reddit's comment section. From Formula One discussions to unexpected controversies, it's clear that one wrongly phrased question can spark a whirlwind of reactions. But let's shift gears now and dive into a completely different scenario, one that involves dorm life, unexpected requests, and a dash of petty revenge.
You don't like your boyfriend seeing me without a bra in the dorm? Then he won't. I live in a college dorm on an all-female floor. I usually wear a bra if leaving the dorm building, but I am not going to put on a bra under my shirt just to walk down the hall to the bathroom. A few days ago, I left my room and walked 10 yards down the hall to the water fountain, refilled my water bottle, and went back to my room. I was wearing a white tank top and no bra. The tank top was fitted but not see-through, so you could only see the outline of my nipples. There was a small group of people hanging out in the hall outside a few of the rooms, but I didn't think much of it. Until around half an hour later, when I got a knock on the door from one of the girls I'd seen in the hall. She said something to the effect of, "Hey, so sorry to ask you this, but if you go out into the hall again, could you put a bra on? My boyfriend is out there and he was staring a little, so..." I'm super non-confrontational, so I said, "Yeah, sure, sorry about that." And for the rest of that night, anytime I left my room, I put a bra or sweater on. And that was the end of it. Or so I thought. The next day, my roommate told me she'd overheard the girl telling a few of her friends about the incident while in the bathroom. She said the girl was making it sound like I'd been purposely trying to seduce her boyfriend, wearing basically nothing, taking my time at the water fountain, posing to push out my breasts, the whole works. When she left the bathroom, my roommate said the girl was actually acting it out at the water fountain, pretending to be me. That night, I passed the girl and some of her friends on my way to go brush my teeth. I wasn't wearing a bra, I was already in pajamas. The girl looked pointedly down at my chest, and all of them started giggling. But the last straw was when the entire dorm got an email from the resident assistant yesterday, saying she'd gotten some anonymous complaints about people dressing inappropriately in the hallways, and asking that we all just make sure we're keeping things covered up. So here's where I got my petty little revenge. I knew that the girl's boyfriend does not go to college here. The girl and I were in the same orientation group and chatted a bit back then. I also knew that due to the pandemic, we are not allowed to have non-student or family guests in the dorms this year. So I used the same anonymous complaint form to issue a complaint about people bringing their off-campus boyfriends into our dorm and them not wearing masks. Masks are mandatory in the hallways, although not frequently enforced. This morning, the resident assistant emailed again saying that due to anonymous complaints, they'd be enforcing the no off-campus guests rule by checking IDs of unfamiliar guests to make sure they were students from then on. Really, this girl should be thanking me. If she was concerned about her boyfriend seeing the vague outline of my breasts in the dorm hallways, she no longer needs to worry.
Before I talk about today's posts, please consider subscribing for more engaging content like this. Wow, what a range of topics we have here. First off, that meta post really got me thinking. It's crazy how sometimes online communities can become echo chambers where dissenting opinions get buried. The user's observation about the disconnect between Reddit's judgments and real-world values is spot on. I mean, who hasn't had an experience where they felt like they were being judged differently online versus in person? It's a great reminder that while online discussions are valuable, they don't always reflect the nuances of real-life interactions. And oh boy, that TIFU post was something else. Asking Reddit which ethnic group to exterminate, yikes. Talk about a misstep. The user's experience shows just how quickly things can spiral out of control on social media. It's a stark reminder to be mindful of our words and the potential impact they can have. Lastly, that dorm story had me rolling. The petty revenge was classic. It's amazing how small incidents can escalate into full-blown dramas in college settings. I love how the user turned the situation around with a clever move. It's always satisfying to see someone stand up for themselves in such a creative way. Now I want to hear from you guys. Have you ever felt like your online community didn't align with real-world values? Or maybe you've had a similar experience where a small incident blew up into something bigger. Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more engaging content and discussions just like this one. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Voiced. If you enjoyed daily high-quality stories, please like and subscribe to show your support.